Ladies and gents, welcome back. Now, the news media hasn't been doing so hot lately, and what they've been doing is resorting to some low rung tabloid type articles. We have here from the London Free Press, millionaire who gave to Freedom Convoy 25,000 tapped federal COVID funds. Local business owner who donated $25,000 to a protest against Canada's COVID measures received federal government pandemic subsidies for at least 4 of his businesses. Wealthy London business owner who donated $25,000 to a protest against COVID measures received federal government pandemic subsidies for 4 of his businesses. Now, the question here is, what's the point? What is their point? And essentially what they're trying to get at is that donating to what is essentially a legal charity, well, it's not a charity, it's a non-profit organization. They're holding up to be something that is illegal, or would the argument be that he's a hypocrite for having taken government funding and given to this Freedom Convoy 2022 on Give, Send, Go, which at this point, the emergency measures have been rescinded. That would, and this is not legal advice, but that to me would indicate that there's no issue with donating to this. Now, of course, this media organization received wind from illegally obtained information that was leaked from a hack of the website, and then proceeded to contact this man. This man willingly gave an interview to the publication. The man said he was forced to take the government money because Ottawa caused financial harm by not lifting restrictions when it should have. In May of 2020, soon after the COVID reached Canada, most public health officials say government restrictions over the past 2 years have saved lives and reduced hospitalizations from the big coof in Canada. Now, that is an opinion from this newspaper, because we have an article here from Headline USA saying major study of COVID lockdowns confirms cure was worse than the disease. While lockdowns had little to no public health benefits, they imposed enormous economic and social costs. And where do they get their information? Well, they get it from Johns Hopkins University, a case study on exactly that. What was the effects of lockdowns? Did it benefit? Was the cost worth the benefits? Now, that being said, the man says the government is the one who forced businesses to close for months on end. We didn't have a choice. He wrote an email to the London Free Press. The government deliberately caused direct financial harm to most businesses. Some industries harmed far greater than others. Now, I can recall, because I have a memory that's a little bit longer than a few minutes, that when this happened, the government blanketed any business affected by the government measures would get a subsidy on wages for their employees. Now, this article doesn't jump into that. It doesn't get into those specifics. It's literally a hit piece on this guy, and it seems like he was duped into giving an interview for the sake of their hit piece, so they could take just a few words that he had to say and then twist it around and make him look bad. Now, what is this publication? This is the London Free Press. Wikipedia, which is, always a great source, fills us in that they've been around for 173 years. So this is a publication that survived a lot of years and a lot of trials and tribulations in news media. So there's been a lot of papers that have come and gone, but this is one that survived the whole thing. Now, how have they survived this? Well, it looks like media has been subsidized by the government for some time. Now, I think if the media is to be the ones to be subsidized by the government, should they not have to disclose that in writing a hit piece about a man who donated his personal money to an organization of his own free will, and then try to turn it around on him like his businesses being subsidized with relief for government programs, that the government programs are the reason for the harm. Now, which media benefited from the Trudeau government's COVID-19 funds? We have here another article from, this is CanadaLand.com. Which medias were included in Trudeau's $10 million top up? Now, these are all different cases, right? This is a $30 million in recovery fund for media. This is a $10 million top up fund. If you're having trouble keeping track of the many ways federal government is subsidizing select news organizations, you can be forgiven. There are plenty of them, and the number keeps growing. There's also a $50 million local journalist initiative, $595 million salary subsidies, common referred to as the newspaper bailout, and $60 million pandemic specific emergency support fund for newspapers. Now, is this a recent trend? No, this has been going back since at least 2018. I mean, I didn't have to search for very long to find this, but $600 million in federal funding for media turning point in the plight of newspapers in Canada. And here's one of those publications, the London Free Press. So take with a grain of salt these hit pieces that keep coming out. And no joke, this was just, while I was just having a look at my phone, it was recommended on the top page at me. So yeah, this is a concerted effort to smear and slander people that have been doing great things for the sake of freedom in our country. So good on you, mister, for donating that money to a good cause, in my opinion. Anyway, guys, keep on trucking.